In the soft hills of Suffolk, England, where the wind rustles through ancient trees and the earth holds centuries of forgotten footsteps, lies a village named Woolpit. Today it's a quiet place, peaceful, unassuming, but almost 1,000 years ago, something happened there that people still whisper about, something that defied logic, faith, and the laws of nature. It's not a ghost story. It's not a myth passed down through tavern talk. It was written down, carefully, twice, by respected chroniclers of their time. This was no drunken tale. This was recorded history. In the 12th century, sometime during the reign of King Stephen or King Henry II, the villagers of Woolpit were tending to their fields as they did every day. Life was simple but hard. People worked the land, raised their animals, went to church. But on one seemingly normal day, that rhythm was broken forever. Two children, young, frightened, and deeply strange, appeared at the edge of the village. A boy and a girl, brother and sister. No one saw them arrive. They didn't come by road. They didn't walk in from the woods. They were simply there, standing near a deep trench, an old wolf pit used to trap dangerous animals. They looked lost, confused. Their skin was green, not pale, not sickly, green, a faint vegetal hue, like new leaves in springtime. Their eyes were wide with fear. Their clothes were made of unfamiliar cloth, cut in a strange fashion no one recognized. And when the villagers approached, speaking to them kindly, the children spoke back in a language no one had ever heard. It was like no English, no Latin, no French. Something completely alien. People panicked. The superstitions of the age ran wild. Some thought they were fey children, fairies who had wandered out of the other world. Others thought they were the devil's offspring. Some whispered that they were ghosts or demons. But one man didn't react with fear. Sir Richard de Calne, a local knight, took the children into his home. He gave them shelter, food, safety. But food was a problem. The children refused to eat anything. Bread, meat, apples, cheese. None of it worked. They cried, turned their heads, and began to grow thin. No one knew what to do. Then one day someone brought them raw broad beans. The children's eyes lit up. They snatched the pods and devoured them, eating them raw and uncooked, pod and all. For days, that was all they would eat. Slowly, they gained strength. The girl, older than her brother, began to adapt. She tried new foods. Her green tint faded. The boy, however, grew weaker. He never recovered. A few weeks later, he died, buried in an unmarked grave in a land he never knew. He never learned the language. He never explained where they came from, but the girl did. Over time, she learned English. She was baptized and given the name Agnes. And when she could finally communicate, she told a story unlike anything anyone had heard before. She said she and her brother came from a place called St. Martin's Land, a place where the sun never shone. The sky was always twilight. The light was dim and green, and everyone who lived there looked like they did. Green-skinned and gentle. Her father, she said, herded animals. One day, while they were tending to the flock, they heard a strange noise, like bells ringing from beyond a cave. They went in to explore, and after wandering in the dark, they emerged here, in Woolpit. The entrance behind them was gone, and they were alone. The villagers were baffled. This wasn't a place anyone had heard of. It didn't exist on any map. There were no nearby towns named St. Martin's Land. There was no record of green-skinned people living in the region. Was she lying? Or was she describing something no one could understand? The idea of hidden lands was common in medieval folklore, but this wasn't being told as fantasy. This was a personal memory, told by a girl who had nothing to gain. She eventually grew up, worked in Sir Richard's household, and even married a man from King's Lynn, about 40 miles away. She blended in. Her story didn't. And that story spread. Two chroniclers, William of Newburgh and Ralph of Coggeshall, both wrote down versions of the tale. They were serious men, skeptical of miracles and superstitions, but they agreed on the basic facts. The children were real, their skin was green, and their origin remained a mystery. Over the centuries, people have tried to explain it. One theory suggests the children were Flemish refugees. At the time, many Flemish immigrants lived near Suffolk. A rebellion had led to massacres, and some families fled into the forest. Perhaps the children's parents died. Perhaps they wandered through the forest, malnourished, and ended up in Woolpit. Their green tint may be a result of hypochromic anemia, also known as green sickness, caused by a poor diet. Their strange language? Possibly Dutch or Flemish. Their strange clothing? Simply foreign fashion. But even this theory has holes. How would young children, with no adults, survive in the forest long enough to travel that far? Why didn't they recognize any food except raw beans? Why describe their homeland as a place with no sun? And how do you explain their emergence from an underground tunnel no one else could find? Others believe the story has a supernatural core. Some suggest it's a tale of interdimensional travel, that the children crossed through a thin place between worlds, that the cave was a portal, that Street Martin's land wasn't on Earth at all. Maybe it was another planet. Maybe it was a version of Earth in a parallel timeline. Some scientists have even speculated about rogue planets, worlds not tethered to a star, bathed in perpetual twilight. Could that explain her story? Or perhaps the mystery was never meant to be solved. Perhaps Agnes herself didn't fully understand what had happened. Maybe memory warped reality. Maybe trauma twisted her sense of time and space. But still, why would two different historians from two different regions record the story at all? Why would the people of Woolpit remember it for generations, unless something truly bizarre had happened? Today, there's a sign at the entrance to the village that shows two children holding hands with green skin. It's become part of the village's identity, a symbol of a mystery that refuses to fade. The story of the Green Children has been retold in books, documentaries, and podcasts, but every telling comes back to the same question. Who were they? Where did they come from? And why did they appear in Woolpit, of all places? Maybe we'll never know. Maybe the truth is buried with the boy, somewhere in the Suffolk countryside, or maybe Agnes took the full story to her grave. But one thing is certain, the mystery remains. It lingers in the soil, in the trees, in the silence of an ordinary village that once witnessed the extraordinary. A place where, once upon a time, two children emerged from the earth and changed history forever.